This guy, he's getting sued by Amex for owing $20,000. Like, bro, you ain't got a 20 piece to pay Amex off? You this multi-millionaire property owner, but you ain't got a 20 piece to pay Amex off? Most real estate investors are broke and can't even pay cash for a Honda. Now, where I got this idea from for this video is this guy, DJ Envy and Caesar Pena are being sued for a real estate fraud, right? And all this is alleged. But this guy, Caesar, gave somebody his chains as collateral for the money that he owes them and say, hey, hold on to my chains. When I get the money, I'll give it to you. So I'm gonna play this clip really quick, and then I'm gonna talk about this whole broke real estate investor thing.
Into Caesar. I lost a total of $64,000.
After receiving 2 bounced checks, Rio says he got a visit from Caesar carrying this box of jewelry.
He said, take this jewelry until I can pay you back.
How much did he say this was worth?
15, 20 grand.
Then there's record producer Anthony Martini, who invested in what...
So I'm not gonna go through this whole video, but I've seen this before, right? You know, you have these guys that are here on the internet, and in most cases in the real world too, that say that they're $1 million, multi-million-dollar portfolio real estate holders, and that they're actually, you know, true millionaires. And this is a classic example. Like, I'm a real estate agent. I've seen this before. This is a classic example of what I call pickup talk, like pickup lines, right? Like if you see a bad bitch at the bar, you're trying to holler at her, and you know, you're like, she's like, well, what do you do for a living? And you're like, I'm a real estate investor. I got $1 million portfolio. When in reality, most of these guys can't even pay cash for a Honda Accord, okay? What a lot of these guys are good at, they're good at leveraging debt, right? Like, we know, you know, if you have decent credit, you can go and get a loan from a bank. And there's nothing wrong with any of this. Like, I've done it before. But the issue is, and I've worked with a lot of investors, most of these guys don't really have the money to buy these homes. You know, I've had people give me fake bank statements, write bad checks just to get a home under contract. Then they scramble to get somebody to give them the down payment, and they scramble to find a lending institution to give them the money. And there's no different than these guys, right? And there are some people that are actually good at it, right? Like they can juggle the debt, make sure everybody gets paid on time, make sure investors get paid back. But most of these guys don't actually have the money. In order for them to get the money, and if they have a property, they either have to qualify to lend against that property, or somebody has to qualify to actually buy it. Okay? A lot of these guys do not have the cash to buy these homes. And the thing is, you know, when I was coming into real estate, when I first became an agent, when I first started wholesaling, I did the same thing. I had millions of dollars in properties, but I didn't have any fucking cash. None. Zero. Right? Well, not zero, but I didn't have enough to where I can go and buy a home cash. Now, I'm in a different situation now, but in my opinion, you know, somebody that has assets or a home that's 100% paid off and they have $1 million in real estate, they aren't true millionaires because they can't go to the bank and take that money out. Like I said, they either have to qualify to get a loan against the property, or somebody else has to qualify to buy it. A lot of this stuff is just bar talk. It sounds good, but when you have investors that call on you, you know, like, I don't know what game you playing, bro, then that ain't it. That's not it. That's not it at all. It's not. And I've been in that situation. It's, like I said, it sounds good, right? But you got to pay all these people, your investors, you got to pay all these notes, these bank loans. It's not what it seems, and it's not what it sounds like, okay? That's the reason why I switched to the agent side, because I don't have to worry about risk. I don't have to worry about debt, and I still make a shit ton of money wholesaling and being a real estate agent representing buyers and sellers. No risk at all. I don't need credit. I don't need to borrow any money. I don't have to do any of that stuff. You know, I like I said, my homes are paid off right now, but I don't use that as, oh, I'm a millionaire. I got $1 million in real estate, but I can't touch the money. It's just, you know, it's parked for tax purposes, but I can't touch it. Right. So if I ever had to pay something off, I would have to borrow against that in order to do so. And once you start getting involved with investors and getting people giving you money to put on deals and stuff like that, and when some of these institutions, which they can, depending on the circumstances, call on these loans, and you don't have the money, well, now you're in a clusterfuck. I get calls every week, text messages, emails from people that watch this channel, that have over leveraged themselves chasing this same ideal that, I try my best to give them scenarios to get out of it, but the majority of them end up royally fucked, okay? And this is a very dangerous game to play. You actually have to be good at this. And it's also better that there are less hands in the pot than having, like this guy, having thousands or hundreds of people in your pocket like this. Then it becomes messy. So I said all that to say, I'm not knocking anybody. All right, I've already done this shit. I did this shit over a decade ago. But all I'm saying is, it's just that it's not always what it seems when you see this stuff, especially on social media. And that's just real.